Well, with the eve of the NFL draft, we're very excited to have back to the show a dear friend of our show and in life, and that is, of course, the play-by-play voice of the Carolina Panthers, Mick Mixon. Mick, how are you, man?
Fantastic. I'm talking to you now from our stadium, and at Bank of America Stadium, there's tremendous excitement coursing through here with soccer on the cusp, and an announcement today that Bank of America will have a field turf installed. That's a difficult decision because natural grass, a lot of people are huge fans of that, including many of our players. But the work that's required to resod that field and keep it ready, and then with soccer, with the desire to do more concerts and more events here. So there's that. Then also you got the Teddy Bridgewater news from today, and we're ramping up for the NFL draft this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of nothing going on there in Charlotte for sure. Speaking of the Bridgewater situation, I want to get your thoughts on that. We saw that breaking news earlier today and wanted to see what you think.
Kind of sad in a way because you attach to these players, and Teddy Bridgewater was pure class. I mean, to watch him work, to see how he went about his business every day. But Teddy would tell you, if I could hand the phone over to him, David, he would tell you the same thing. All NFL players know that it is just that. It is a business. And sometimes you break up, you start dating somebody else, then you get remarried, your former wife. I mean, it just kind of happens that way in the league. But Bridgewater still has a lot of football left. But this will open up some things for the Panthers. Now, even more so than ever, you could envision Carolina picking a quarterback in this draft if one should be available at 8. You could also envision them not doing that, them going O-line, them going cornerback, them trading back. I think that the Darnold move plus Bridgewater to Denver for a 6 makes a lot of sense. Gives the Panthers a draft pick back and doesn't hamstring Carolina in a lot of ways.
And Mick, I wanted to ask you that, staying in the quarterback room, we haven't had you on since the Panthers acquired. They got Sam Darnold. So talk about him and what he brings to the Panthers.
Intelligent athlete, football age, much older than his chronological age. He'll turn 24 in June. So to be 23, to have gone pro after your redshirt sophomore year, but to still have 3 years of NFL experience in a big market on your resume, that's impressive. Darnold can get the ball downfield. All quarterbacks can sling it at this level, but the Panthers have always liked Sam Darnold. Scott Fitterer liked him when he vetted him for the Seahawks, and I think Matt Rule's been a fan as well. So this should be fascinating to see how Sam Darnold fits with all these pieces. He'll be reunited with Robbie Anderson, a former Jet teammate. Hopefully Christian McCaffrey, CMC, will be back on the chessboard as one of those awesome pieces, the pieces of weaponry that the Joe Brady offense will love. Dan Arnold comes in as a tight end. You got DJ Moore returning. There's a lot of excitement about this offense and what it can be.
No question with that very thing, the excitement of Darnold, and then with the draft. What do you think the needs are? We were talking about corner, but what do you think the needs are for this team? If you could be in that draft room, who would you pick?
Well, I have an open door policy, and did under John Fox and did under Ron Rivera and Marty Herney, and I'll be here in my office in case anybody wants to bounce anything off of me. So far, no one has. The only thing I've heard is just the sound of crickets chirping in the night. But I would say it's already, see, I deal in syllables and in sounds so I'm already a little worried about Sam Darnold throwing the ball to a tight end named Dan Arnold, because Dan Arnold and Darnold could trip you up. So we'll
right.
that, make sure we're right. So player with hyphenated names who wants to be called the third or the fourth or Esquire or somebody from some distant land with 72 consonants in their last name, I would just hope for that to be run through a fine filter. Now, I'm just kidding, of course. Don't anybody take me too seriously. But I think just what Scott Fitterer said, David, he's been a pretty open book. He has said corner, he has said O-line, and he has said defensive line.
That's exactly where we're going. And as far as Coach Rule. I told you in the email when I reached out to you about coming on. Huge fan of him, and you've had a chance to work with him now. What are your thoughts on him? And those of us on the outside have always liked him, and certainly it seems like the players liked him wherever he was in college, and I'm sure the Panthers do as well.
Matt Rules is so gifted, David, as a communicator. He's magical in a way. He's got that ability. I mean, you would walk right, if you didn't know that who he was, you would walk right past him at the mall or on the street, or you'd see him driving his car, and you would not probably think twice about he wouldn't stand out. But as soon as he starts talking, as soon as he opens his mouth, you see that he's got neurons firing. He's motivational. He's got a creative intelligence about him. I remember one time last year during the COVID, I was up here on the 4th floor where my little office, my little cubicle is. Down on 3, Coach Rule was having a meeting with the entire team. And I heard him talking about, are we going to let this define us? Are we going to let this, what this person says, what this writer writes, define us? And he started just railing. I mean, and it was better than any motivation. I made myself real skinny, which is not difficult because I'm already kind of that way. And just leaned up against the wall and just eavesdrop on his talk to the team for about 5 minutes. And I felt like my life, you know, my day was made better. My month was made better. My life was enhanced just by hearing him talk. And the message wasn't even directed my way.
It's going to be exciting to see the Panthers, and certainly with that. And as far as you were talking, the field with Bank of America, the second having the Charlotte Football Club, how is that with you guys? With I know with David Tepper owning the team, both teams, how is the relationship between both clubs?
I'm not sure because I don't have the access that I used to have. It's starting to come back with more people working in the building.
Right.
I can tell you, this is an exciting, I mean, just so I'm right across the hall from the Charlie Dayton press box. So on the 4th floor, Bank of America Stadium. So when I walk to the restroom, which I do frequently because I'm 62 years old, I see there's construction going on everywhere outside. The gallery suites, the luxury suites, the press box itself is being remodeled. Some offices are being I mean, David Tepper is not going to stand pat. He does not believe in just staying where you are. He wants to be state of the art, best of the best in every way, including our facility.
Well, not only because I like him because he has the same name as I do, but also the fact he seems to be very aggressive. And I mean that in a good way. And also, he seems to be a visionary.
Well, he made his money by being risk tolerant, and to be the richest NFL owner, to have a net worth of about, 14-16 billion dollars. As I'm sure you know, Bubba might even know this. When you've lived 1 billion seconds of your life, you're over 30 years old. You're almost 31 years old by the time you've lived 1 billion seconds. That's how big a number a billion is. So then multiply that by 10, 15, 16, and you get the number of dollars that David Tepper has. It's unbelievable. David Tepper doesn't react to the financial markets. The markets react to him. And he's determined. I mean, this facility in Rock Hill is going to be amazing. Bank of America Stadium, who knows what will happen here over the next 5, 10, 15 years. But it's going to be electric.
Hey, Mick, circling back around to Sam Darnold, obviously chosen 3rd overall by the New York Jets back in 2018. Just talk about his contract situation. And I know you referenced the Panthers potentially drafting a quarterback. That remains to be seen. But just talk about the Sam Darnold contract situation.
Yeah, somebody said to me the other day, if they draft a quarterback, won't that cause Sam Darnold's confidence to be shaky and cause him to see even more ghosts? And I said, look, Sam Darnold's going to be fine. I mean, he's going to have weapons here that he didn't have with the Jets. Weapons on the coaching staff, weapons on the field. And it's not it's not our job to prop up Sam Darnold's world and make him cushy and confident. It's his job to show his primary employer that he's got the gravitas, the traction, the ability to bring confidence and swagger to everything he does. And by all accounts, he's up for that challenge.
With us being East Carolina, sorry, Dave. And with us being East Carolina fans, Mick, Deontay Smith, offensive tackle for the Pirates, who had a bit of an injury-riddled career, particularly later on in his time in the purple and gold. He's performed very well at the Senior Bowl, and then in his pro day at ECU. He in some mock drafts has been projected to go to Carolina, and I know you said that's a need for the Panthers, so that's exciting to East Carolina fans, the possibility of him staying here close to home.
That'd be amazing. And you make a good point, Bubba. The medical thing is huge because, number one, you got a player that has a back injury that coaching staff, they don't have the ability as much as they have had to vet these guys and get the complete medical. It's better than it was, but it's still not ideal. And then our particular coaching staff is huge on how do you appear, and then how does that reflect really who you are. In other words, the Panthers want guys and insist on guys that love football. So does Smith love football, which I guarantee you he does, or like some, is he just a fan? Does he just play because of what the game can do for him and his family? And so the Panthers love these tough guys that can overcome injuries, and then there's been also some who've opted out. I mean, Penei Sewell, 20-year-old from American Samoa, best tackle in the best offensive lineman in college football in 2019, but he opts out in 2020. So some team is going to draft him probably top 10, if not top 6. The Miami trade with Washington, trading Flowers to Washington, makes it seem likely that they'll take Sewell if the Bengals don't at 5. But Penei Sewell will not have played tackle football in over a year. So there are risks all over the place. But I'm glad you mentioned Smith because I know the Panthers are big fans of his.
And Deontay Smith, he's a guy that the injury combined with everything going on with COVID-19 and not being able to work out with the strength coach and do the things that a Division I athlete would typically do, he dropped down to about 274 pounds, but now he's up to about 290 and 295 and playing at that weight better than he had before he dropped those 15 or so pounds.
Wow, that's good to know and good to hear. I think I could see one of the fun things about Thursday night will be, there's so much intrigue in what do the Niners do at 3, then what do the Falcons do at 4, what do the Bengals do at 5, then you got Miami at 6. It'll just be so interesting to see. I think the best case scenario for the Panthers might be now. Don't quote me because I'm just a guy and I don't know. I'm just interested like any fan. But if a quarterback was available, if one of the QBs was still on the board when the Panthers selected, and Carolina could trade back a pick or two, still get a player they have a top 10 grade on, and then pick up maybe another pick to replace the second they lost in the Darnold deal, it's got a chance.
Mick, I had a sidebar for you as far as we're just talking about East Carolina. East Carolina is opening their season at Bank of America Stadium September the 2nd. The Duke's Mayonnaise Classic. I don't know if all the fans will get a jar of mayonnaise when they walk in, but it's East Carolina, App State. I just want to get your thoughts on that. I know that you follow sports closely, and we're very excited to be opening up our season at Bank of America.
It's going to be a great environment. My wife and I came to the South Carolina, North Carolina game when those two teams opened the season at Bank of America Stadium. And just to have Charlotte just lit up with the black and gold from Appalachian State, the purple storm will be rolling in from where the deer and the fire ants roam. And man, it's just going to be a heck of a thing. And what are you guys seeing about Pirate football? I mean, I know it's been. I talk to Coach Logan every once in a while. I love talking to Steve, and he's kind of a must phone call for me every week. I like getting his opinion on the other quarterback the Panthers are going to face. But do you think ECU is positioned to achieve and maintain national prominence again?
Oh, no question. They actually this year, Coach Houston. We've already talked on our show, Mick, but Coach Houston, he's very honest. That's what we love about him. He's brutally honest, and I think that in a subtle, he's not been very direct, but I think that he's been more candid this year. And he finally said something to the effect of recently, about a week ago, we had our spring scrimmage. I got to be careful my semantics. The administration doesn't like to say spring game. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, he said that he feels like it's an AAC team right now, Bubba.
Absolutely. He said, and like you're saying, with bigger, faster, stronger, older players entering year 3 of Mike Houston, it definitely looks more like an American Athletic Conference team as it should. And Mick, we ended last year with a very sound victory over SMU, a team that was right there, a fringe top 25 team. Obviously having a very good season under Coach Dykes. So there were times like that, the near miss, a game that was really stolen from the Pirates by the officiating crew at Tulsa. I'm sure you probably were aware of that situation. So things are trending in the right direction. I could see the Pirates, vying for a bowl this year.
Is my friend Jeff Charles still the voice of the Pirates?
Yes, he is. I believe it'll be the 33rd season coming up, Bubba, this year, I believe, and there September the 2nd.
Yep, I believe that's correct, Dave. Let's see, I want to say it was either 87 or 88 was his first year.
Yep.
And Carl Lester Crumpler used to do the color a long time ago. Does Crump still work with him?
He does not. It's Kevin Monroe. Kevin Monroe played defensive back for the Pirates there in the 90s. And he took over, I want to say it was 2004. So Kevin Monroe, it's hard to believe, has been there now, I guess, 17 years or so.
Oh, man. I'm sure they're a great team.
Yeah, they really are. And we're looking forward to that, just like we are certainly with the Panthers, Mick. I tell you what, very excited about the draft. And I know that this is the time of the year where I know there's always sleepless nights, but I can't imagine too many nights where these guys are getting any kind of sleep with the draft being tomorrow night.
You can't believe how hard they work. A couple of them playing low to some going to Cleveland today. And our .com folks do a great job on Panthers.com and covering the draft. And we're going to have it for you, all the interviews, the podcasts, and every pick and every nuance on Panthers.com.
And one final question for you, Mick. What about when it comes to the fall or the summertime with training camp? Will we be able to go there or in Rock Hill, or what's the plan? Have you heard anything?
I've heard, and again, don't take me too seriously and quote me, but what I've heard is that the NFL is planning on full stadiums in 2021, and that teams will be allowed to travel and go to training camp off their sites if they wish to. And what I've heard is the Panthers are making plans to go back to Wofford.
Oh man, that's exciting news. And I lied. I do have one more. Your thoughts quickly on, I know you have to run, but the 17 game season, are you equipped to do one more regular season game? This year was 17. I've been watching the NFL for a long time. It's been 16 regular season games. This year, we're adding one more game. I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, it'll just be weird. We'll have to recalibrate those numbers, because instinctively you kind of think, okay, well, you could be 12-4, or you could be 11-5. Now you could be, 14-3, and that'll have a weird sound to it, but we'll get used to it. And I think it's great. I think it's the direction that it should go. It's going to add value to the season, more games that count. And I think last year with no preseason certainly proved that NFL teams do not need 12 quarters of football do not need 16 quarters of football, rather, in order to get their rosters set.
No question, Mick. Very excited always to have you on the show. How can people follow your work on social media? And I'm sure that we can hear you in coming up in August, right?
They cannot follow my work on social media because I'm not on social media. I believe that scarcity breeds momentum. I long ago decided that I don't care what people who don't know me think about me. I don't see the value in slugging it out with people who have got more time to type than I do. And also I love just, somebody said to me the other day, well, Mick, what about your brand? Don't you want to work on your personal brand? And I said, hell no, I don't have a personal brand. And I don't believe in it. My brand is that I'm a friendly guy. I'm the guy that tries to connect you to Panther games on Sunday and Thursday nights and some Monday nights. And hopefully that, and I love football and love the gig, and hopefully that comes across on the air. And this job needs no further edification than that, in my opinion.
Well, Mick, I enjoyed it as always. Appreciate it. Good luck to the Panthers this season. We'll have you on certainly in the summertime as we get ready for, hard to believe, the 2021 football season.
Oh, sounds great, man. I appreciate it, Bubba. Thank you, David. And always great hearing your voices.